Welcome one and all back into The Future is Female. I, of course, am your host, Gabrielle Ducharme. I cannot speak today, apparently. Of course, I am your host, Gabrielle Ducharme, joined here, as always, by my co-host, Nicole Pinter. You can't see it, folks, on the airwaves, but Nicole's got quite the background going on right there. She's trying to live 2 years in the past. Nicole, how are you doing right now?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. The world is hurting after the Lakers doing whatever they did. But all I wrote in the doc is go crazy, Gabby. So the floor is yours.
I would just like to say the world is not hurting. The world was hurting the day that Kobe Bryant passed away. The world was hurting the day that COVID-19 struck. The world was hurting the day that
I
sports.
was exaggerating. I was joking. I just wanna point that out. The minute I'm like the world is hurting with the Lakers loss. It's kind of a joke, but also kind of true. When you pull out with Kobe and COVID, what the okay, go ahead.
you know, I I have this theory with this team this season. Sunday night was a fun night. It was fun to see the team that I grew up watching win. It was fun to see a league that has been through so much in the last year put a bow on the season, right? Like back in March, the team was not expected at all to actually finish out their season. They just weren't. So the fact that they actually were able to was just it was huge. It felt like it was an amazing accomplishment for the team. And I remember when I was sitting there watching it, the first thing I thought in my head was congratulations to LeBron James, of course. The LeBron MJ debate wears on, and I would like to just put like put a big bow on it and say stop fighting and just enjoy it. Enjoy the greatness that you're witnessing on the court right now. Enjoy the greatness that was MJ with The Last Dance and with everything that documentary gave us in a time where we just craved sport so badly. Like enjoy what these two athletes stand for. They are from different eras. They played on different teams. They had vastly different careers. Stop trying to compare them. Stop trying to argue which one was better. Because frankly, you keep arguing which one's better, and before you know it, you look around and you realize, oh, LeBron James is going to be in his 18th NBA season. He's not playing basketball forever. He's going to retire soon as well. And it's like at the end of the day, does it really matter which one was better? Can we just appreciate the fact that LeBron James just won his fourth NBA title with his third NBA team, and that he's got another Finals MVP award under his belt? Can we just appreciate the fact that Michael Jordan went 6 for 6, all with the same organization in the NBA Finals? Why does it have to be a debate, right? Like I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of the LeBron MJ debate because it doesn't allow me as a sports journalist, as a basketball aficionado that I am, it takes away from me being able to just enjoy the greatness that I get to witness night in and night out with the athletes on the court. I don't know, Nicole, what are your thoughts?
I gave you the floor. I'm really surprised you came out with that. Honestly, I thought you were gonna come out with LeBron's the GOAT. This is the end of the debate. Um,
you
I,
know,
I'm a, I listen. I'm obviously a Michael Jordan person. He was a
yeah,
bull. It's obvious where I'm gonna say who's the goat is. You're a LeBron James fan. It's obvious who each of us would, if you had to make us choose, who would say is a goat. But I'm in total agreement with you. Of let's just enjoy. Obviously, this debate is so people like us can just talk, have something to talk about. So First Take can talk about something after the NBA Finals, other than LeBron getting his fourth title. So it's all of that. I agree with you. I think some of the discourse is kind of funny though, but yeah, I mean, I think there's fair arguments on both sides. Like they both have done such different things for the sport of basketball. Both done different things on the court and off the court.
yeah.
So yeah, different eras, like you said. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you.
And of course, like because the two athletes were in very different eras, it was incredibly remarkable to just be able to witness exactly what was happening on the court, in 2020, and you compare it to what was happening on the court with Michael Jordan in say like 1993. The game has changed. The game is different. It's evolved. And, just going back a little bit to what the Lakers stand for now as an organization, they've now tied the Boston Celtics, of course, with 17 titles. Rajon Rondo, when he was basically a baby in the league. Really, Nicole? Okay, for those of you who can't see her screen, Nicole has Nick Young missing a three-pointer as a Laker. Nicole, that was a long time ago, before LeBron James was on the team and before they were NBA champions. Before they
no, I'm aware. I just like getting under your skin, and this is still one of the greatest pictures of all time.
Anyways, you talk about a team like the Lakers. They had Dwight Howard on their team, who actually won a title in Orlando. They had LeBron James. They had Rajon Rondo, who's I think he's the second player in NBA history to win a championship with the two teams that lead the entire league in NBA championships. They had like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who just always struggled throughout the league. Like, he was never a super good shooter. He was kind of the team itself, they were kind of an island of misfit toys. That's what I like to refer to them as, because like Rondo is a traditional point guard in many ways, but then in other ways, like, he's one of the best rebounders in NBA history for how short he is. LeBron James is just a Swiss Army knife that literally makes up for any like holes that you have on your team. Anthony Davis before this year was like, an unhealthy superstar that couldn't lead his team past the first round of the postseason. Like, they were just this entire island of misfit toys that came together at the exact right time. And I won't say at all that COVID-19 was like the reason that they won, but the rest that they got from March 11th to July 29th, when they actually restarted their season, was really what kind of allowed them to retool and allowed them to be as healthy as they were come, October. And I will say, like, if you were to ask anybody in that organization, would you choose to play in this format again versus playing in June, like a normal NBA season? All of them across the board, across the entire league would say, no, we want to play in June in front of a normal crowd. We want to go through the normal playoff format, because it means that, COVID-19 hasn't really been a thing. But if you're at least looking at it glass half full, the rest they were able to get, the ability to kind of all be together constantly, not have to travel from city to city, not have to switch time zones, not have to go through what you usually go through by the time you get to the NBA playoffs. Usually by the time you get to the playoffs, you're right around, you're ticking in at right around 100 basketball games played without a lot of rest over a 10-month span. And so they got a 3-month break. Of course, it was in the midst of the global pandemic, so call it what you will. Maybe it wasn't really a break. It was just a stoppage in play for very horrific reasons. But yeah, I think this franchise moving forward, they're going to have some big decisions to make in the offseason. But I don't think it really takes away from the fact that they made history. In a season where they lost Kobe Bryant, in a season where a global pandemic struck the world, where they were playing in a literal bubble for over 100 days, the team was able to get it done. And that says something, that speaks volumes to how important it was to have talent like LeBron James on your team, to have to basically just stick together, no matter what the circumstance was. With all that this league has faced, I think I'm honestly just kind of relieved that they were able to put a bow on the season over a year later. So moving on, though, from, of course, NBA basketball, there's going to be some pretty big free agency. There's going to be some pretty big signings that might occur this offseason. And of course, that is something we will always keep our eye on. Daryl Morey got released as
he stepped down.
He absolutely stepped down. Yeah, so they lost their coach is no longer there. Their GM is no longer there. Goodbye, small ball, I guess.
Rip small ball. We'll miss you forever in our hearts. Small ball.
Yeah, James
How far did they get you? Maybe second round.
James Harden, always the NBA star that came out of ASU. Like the one thing that like is like the glue of that basketball season.
I have these already. I just want you to know I have these already. I'm not looking them up. No. Okay, my background is Harden's 5.9% three-point field goal percentage. Anyway, rip small ball.
shooting threes is hard, is what that says. Hard and then N in parentheses. Yeah, shooting threes apparently is very hard for the superstar James Harden. So unfortunately, the Houston Rockets are going to be in absolute upheaval right now, and I guess from this point on, we're going to see where free agency kind of takes this league over the next 2 years or so, because LeBron being in his 18th season, he's not going to last forever. He's an absolute Swiss Army knife. He's playing at a level that nobody else has seen. But, going forward, there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be a free agent in about the next year or so, and the Miami Heat have announced that they are fully fledged going after him in summer of 2021 or in whenever free agency is in 2021, because at this point, I really don't know where the NBA season will start and finish next year, and like what that will look like. Nobody really knows at this point. I don't even think the league knows. So yeah, so we will see where free agency lands, where the Houston Rockets end up. But for now, we get to bask in the glory, or I get to bask in the glory of my hometown Los Angeles Lakers becoming NBA champions, while Nicole lives in the past. 2-3 years ago. But moving forward to the present.
Actually, wait, can I just bring up I don't know why just talking about the Lakers reminded me of from 2018, 2019, the Lakers one shining moment, like how they use the March Madness. I know I'm really going in on living in the past thing, but I was reminded of it. It is so funny. Listen, Lakers won the title. Congrats. Have at it. LeBron won his fourth. They deserved it. But yeah, I still don't like the Lakers. Props to Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson, who went to University of Michigan. Of course, both of my guys. Yeah, the way Jimmy Butler fought to extend that series one more game was incredible. And I don't think he could have done it 2 more times. But yeah, great series, great season. Like you said, sorry to cut off your transition to the present. But as you were going to say, the MLB playoffs, the Dodgers won game 3, what's today? Wednesday night, 15-3. They scored 11 runs in the first inning. That is the most in postseason history. Atlanta still leads the series 2-1. Kershaw is expected to start game 4. At the time of this premiere, we'll know the results of that. Obviously, we do not right now, as it is Thursday morning. Could be the most important game of his career. We'll see if we get typical playoff Kershaw, as everyone likes to make fun of, or the Kershaw we've seen mostly this season.
Yeah,
relatively reliable.
I'm rather shocked as well that the Dodgers have been to the postseason so many times, and they've made it to the World Series like 3 times in the last probably 6 years. The fact that they can't get it done, that they're struggling to get it done, it's kind of sad. Dodgers, come on, guys. You guys are way too talented to not be in the World Series again this year.
Yeah, they're the overwhelming favorites, and they have been since the start of the season. So we'll see they tie it up, or we'll see where that goes. We'll update you next week. The Astros extended the series versus the Rays, won game 4-3. Altuve actually had a halfway decent game with a home run and 2 RBIs after not being able to throw a liner to the first baseman or second baseman. Maybe he figured it out at the time of this premiere, and there's a game 6, or the Rays have already ended the series and they're in the World Series. We won't know, but you will when this is airing.
We'll circle back next week.
Yeah, we'll circle back. Going to the NFL, I'll start with Bears Corner.
Everybody's favorite segments.
Okay, Gabby. You got your Lakers. I gave you the time. I had to make fun of you. You know what it is. Bears
had to make fun of me. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Bears Corner. Let's hear what's going on with your team this week.
They did make me happy last Friday after I said I hope they would. They topped Brady and the Bucs 20-19. Big Richard Foles. You know what I mean in the middle of that. You know what I mean to say. 30-42, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick that really wasn't his fault. Allen Robinson should have had that or knocked it down. He could have thrown it more to the outside, and he did miss some wide open throws, I know, but did come away with a win. He owns Brady. The defense was once again bend don't break, giving the Bears offense a chance that they finally took last Thursday. Held Brady to only 1 touchdown, and after in the first quarter, after that it was 4 field goals from here on out.
Yeah.
So really all around good game. I was very scared at the last field goal because it was, I believe, the same yardage away, same right hash as who decided to hit a doinker in between the things to win the game for the Browns.
Boink.
Congrats. Yes.
Boink.
So congrats, Browns. I'm glad you have the most accurate kicker to actually get one in. He is the most accurate kicker. He kicked the field goal post 4 times against the Lions last season. Don't forget. Jesus. None of them went in, of course. Anyway, enough of that.
Jesus.
Bears are at Carolina this coming Sunday. Teddy Bridgewater Panthers have sort of gotten back into the mix of things in the NFC South, although that's not particularly hard at the moment after starting 0-2.
So my question is, where do the Bears rank now in their division? Like, where are we at?
They're still second. The Packers have looked overwhelmingly good. Yeah. Have they beaten anyone? If I'm missing someone on the schedule, I'd say no, but still they've looked dominant doing it. I think as opposed to the Steelers where they haven't beaten anyone and they've also kind of struggled. They haven't beaten anyone, but they've also kind of struggled to get those wins like they did against the Eagles. So Packers are still 1. Lions are somehow 3. The Vikings are the worst. Kirk Cousins, obviously.
Yeah, so they're paying Kirk Cousins like God knows how much money over the next few years to just be like the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's fabulous for all of you, right?
Basically. So defense just has to do the same thing. Also, Khalil Mack was a force against Tampa Bay. That's why we're paying him. So as long as the defense can do that again against Bridgewater, and this is a Panthers team that no one really thought would be good, and now they're without Christian McCaffrey, and they've won all their games without him. So they've kind of had to reinvent the offense. So it's a bit of a different team than everyone was saying would go like 2-14 at the beginning of the season. So just bend don't break defense, no turnovers, and the Bears should win the game just fine. Moving on to Lowell Jets.
Oh, so cute.
No, Gase has not been fired. Dan Quinn has, though his seat is getting hotter. After losing to the Cardinals Sunday, they released Le'Veon Bell Tuesday night during Tuesday Night Football. Excuse me, after not finding a trading partner for the past few weeks. It's a costly release, too. They take on the rest of his salary, which is $6 million. Gase on if he misused Bell, quote, "It's irrelevant now. So are you, Gase."
Irrelevant. Just to be clear, he was always irrelevant. It's the New York Jets. Like, I'm sorry, right, but like the Jets have like one of the best young quarterbacks in the league in Sam Darnold, and I'm pretty sure they like are about to bench him. Like, and then they release Le'Veon Bell. I don't understand the logic in that either. You're paying him so much money, like.
I mean, he hasn't produced, but the fact that you're not at least waiting till the off season, like, you're maybe winning 1 or 2 games this season. Yeah. More likely none. So I don't know, but it sounds like they're going all in on Gase is what it's kind of coming out to, which is wild to me. We'll see if that lasts the entire season. Gabby, I want to throw this next one to you. So the Seahawks came back to beat the Vikings 27-26. This is where you come in. Russell Wilson entered the building with a Sue Bird jersey on and says, quote, "Take it away, Gabby."
He says, quote, "I felt like Sue Bird in the clutch." And of course, what Russell Wilson did in that game was he marched Seattle down the field with like pretty much under a minute to go, scored the game-winning touchdown. You know, it wasn't even a question of if he would do it. It was more so just how and how much time would he drain off the clock. I've heard a lot of people say that Wilson is literally now like the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if that's true, if he's the most clutch. He's definitely one of the best in the NFL. I think I saw the other day that he now has a 99 QBR like quarterback rating, which is just phenomenal. Hang on, there's this one quote that I want to pull up actually from the legendary Paula Bovin. Let me see if I can find it. Anyways, it was basically a quote discussing like the greatness of here it is. It was basically a quote discussing the greatness of football and basketball and everything like that. And Paula tweeted, she said, I felt like she tweeted at, like Russell Wilson said, I felt like Sue Bird in the clutch. She says, quote, in my era following sports growing up, I never remember a male athlete saying something like this. It seems simplistic, but this is powerful. You know, Bovin is obviously like she's a leader in the journalism school here at ASU, and seeing something like that, it got picked up by a couple of different media outlets as well, and it got reposted. But it is incredibly powerful what he said, and it is incredibly powerful what he was able to do for his team on on Sunday night. So good for Russell Wilson. You know, continuing to extend the reach of women's basketball and continuing to extend the legacy that is the legendary 40-something Sue Bird, who just also won her 4th title. So pretty good.
Yeah, awesome. And it matters. Hearing an NFL quarterback, especially if his stature say that, it matters. Moving on real quick, Washington. So last week I didn't get a chance to mention Dwayne Haskins was benched. Sunday he didn't even enter the building. I just want to reiterate that he is a bust. Listen, I hope the best for him, but I didn't like him coming out of college. I believe I've said this on past shows, and that's more than he was just coach at Ohio State. He could only hit the open receiver. That's all. And he can't even do that in the NFL right now. But that did lead – so Kyle Allen got the start. That did lead to Alex Smith playing for the first time since his gruesome injury in 2018. His wife and kids were there. They looked terrified. I think everyone was like a concerned mother that day watching Alex Smith play, especially against Aaron Donald, with Aaron Donald on the other side. So it's just spectacular.
If I'm Aaron Donald and I'm the Rams, I'm not touching him. I don't care. Like, if you're losing, if you're winning, I'm just not touching him. Don't touch him, because I don't want to be that person that knocks him down again and forces him to have another injury. I couldn't live with myself if I were that. Granted, I'm also not an NFL player, so I'm not getting paid millions and millions of dollars to hit people. But yeah, it was remarkable what we saw from Alex Smith that day. Just the idea of never giving up, the idea of always persevering. I don't know if it's the best thing for his body to continue playing football, but
just the fact that he was out there again is incredible. And unfortunately, there's another gruesome injury Sunday. Real quick, Dak Prescott, his ankle. I feel terrible for the guy. He's gone through so much this year. He deserves so much better than the franchise tag. Well, you know, we'll see where that goes. Wish him the best. He's been in good spirits, so that's good. So yeah, just the best to Dak Prescott. Moving on to college football, COVID in the SEC. Gabby, this is one you wanted me to bring up real quick as we finish up the show. Take it away.
The fact of the matter is COVID invading the SEC, the all-powerful football conference. It just goes to show the pandemic doesn't care what you're doing, how much money is on the line, how many players you're putting at risk. It doesn't care. It's a disease. It has spread across this country and back 200,000 times over. It has absolutely obliterated this country and obliterated the entire world. The fact of the matter is, playing football right now, in my eyes, it's just not the top priority. It shouldn't be the top priority. You got to put the health and safety of this country first. And the SEC going forward, essentially commenting as well, I think the Florida head coach commented that he wanted 90,000 people at the LSU game, like when they play against them. No, it's just not a smart idea to do that. Like, I want the SEC to be smart. I want them to literally be able to look around and say, you know what? We got to push ourselves to the side right now, right? We got to push football and competition to the side right now because we got to take care of our student athletes. and that's not something that they've been doing. And that makes me mad. That makes me, as someone who wants to work in the sports world, it makes me mad that the league and the NCAA is letting down their people right now, and that the country is being let down right now, because even the all-powerful Nick Saban still fell victim to COVID-19. I know he's asymptomatic right now, and thank God that he is, right? Because you would never wish disease upon anyone, but like even the all-powerful, football gods, they are not gods. They are human beings who, at the end of the day, they fell victim to COVID-19. So it's frustrating. Hopefully they work it out soon. Hopefully everybody is safe soon. Kind of switching gears a little bit though. Football to tennis. Nicole,
Actually, Gabby, I want to just really quick. I've complained about the NCAA a lot. I will do more so in the future when we have more time.
right.
This is everyone getting mad about the NFL. Not actually. Look at what Rich Eisen said about this. You can say what you want about him working at NFL Network and whatnot, but the NFL doesn't care about its players. It sure as hell looks like the NCAA doesn't either. Mullen complaining that he wants to pack the stadium for the now postponed LSU game, which he blamed the loss to Texas A&M for. 30 games have now been postponed or canceled due to COVID. Alabama and Georgia could be the 31st. We're not sure yet. Finishing up, though, but yeah, just wishing the best for everyone. Obviously, stay safe, do what you need to do. Switching gears to tennis, the French Open concluded this past weekend. Rafa Nadal beats Novak Djokovic in straight sets in the French Open final, 6-0, 6-2, 7-5. He tied Federer's record of 20 men's single titles. He now has 13 French Open titles. This is his fourth straight title in the event, and he has a 100 wins, 2 losses record at the French Open. Point being, Rafa is unstoppable on clay. He's unstoppable. He's just a new person. This from ESPN on the women's side. 19-year-old Polish phenom Iga Świątek defeated the 2020 Australian Open champion Sofia Kenin on Saturday to become the youngest French Open women's champion since Monica Seles in 1992. She also won in straight sets, 6-4, 6-2. And the French Open was played in the cold. Not much of a break before the next French Open. I believe it will be played in the spring where it will be much warmer, better weather. And yeah, so Rafa's unstoppable on clay by Novak. No one likes Novak.
All right.
Anyway,
Novak Djokovic. R.I.P. Oh, Lord. Of course, though. Of course. I mean, the tennis world is being affected by this. Everyone is being affected by the ongoing global pandemic. Here's to hoping that people continue socially distancing, wearing their masks, and washing their hands. For all of us here at The Future is Female, I, of course, am Gabrielle Ducharme for Nicole Pinter. We will see you guys next week. Please stay safe. Please stay happy. Until then, thanks, guys.